We take you to the breaking story. US President Donald Trump has said he does not plan to attend the G20 Summit in South Africa in November, suggesting that he will send someone else instead. He repeatedly debunked claims of white citizens being systematically persecuted and killed in the country as his reasoning. Kate Fisher joins us from Washington. Kate, a very good evening to you. I think, of course, it isn't the evening on your side. What did US President Donald Trump have to say?
Well, he was making these comments on board Air Force One as he was en route, leaving Scotland, where he's been for a few days, opening his new golf course. He was speaking to reporters on board the aircraft, and he was asked directly if he would go to the G20 Summit in South Africa, and he said, quote, "No, I think maybe I'll send somebody else because I've had a lot of problems with South Africa. A lot of people are being killed. So I think I probably won't. I'd like to, but I don't think I will." So once again, using those falsehoods of alleged white genocide in South Africa, which clearly have been proved to be untrue, repeatedly criticising again the country during this second term in office. He has continued to promote these false claims that white citizens, especially farmers, are being targeted, even offering them refugee status here in the US, when the US refugee program has essentially been closed to just about every other part of the world. And of course, those claims have been amplified by his now former close advisor, the South African billionaire Elon Musk. There was, of course, hope from the South African government that that Oval Office meeting with President Ramaphosa would be an opportunity for President Ramaphosa to sit face to face with Donald Trump, debunk those claims, explain why he was misguided in what he thought. But clearly, after hearing this, it doesn't appear that that strategy has worked. And at the moment, the US president indicating strongly that he doesn't intend to visit South Africa for the G20.
So what does this mean for South Africa's US relationship?
Well, it's already essentially been at rock bottom during this year since Donald Trump retook the White House. And I think this kind of is potentially an even lower point. He continues to repeat these falsehoods that the South Africans have tried repeatedly to correct him on. And that appears to be driving this policy. We still have no South African ambassador here in Washington after Ibrahim Rasool was expelled from the country. And even though President Ramaphosa seemed relatively confident that he had managed to dispel these falsehoods from Donald Trump during that Oval Office meeting, and he left saying that he looked forward to playing golf with President Trump when he visited South Africa. And when I spoke to President Ramaphosa in Brazil last year at the last G20, I interviewed him and asked him then, was he expecting to host Donald Trump in South Africa? And he said yes, he was looking forward to it and looking forward to taking him out on the golf course. So this is a huge blow to Mr. Ramaphosa's policy towards the United States. But we should note that in those words that he used on Air Force One just an hour or so ago, Donald Trump did not say definitely no. He did leave himself some room for maneuver, saying, I think I probably won't, I'd like to, but I don't think I will. So there is still a chance that he could change his mind and still make that trip.
Yeah, and as all of that happens, and one has to look at the timing. All of it comes just as the tariff pause is about to run out and South Africa facing the implementation of 30% tariffs.
Yeah, that's right. This timing is pretty terrible. A really bad week, as I said, for the relationship between the two countries, because on Friday, along with most countries in the rest of the world, tariffs are set to go up for South Africa after that pause, up by 30% on most exports from the country. And this is, I'm sure, particularly frustrating for the government in Pretoria, given they have sent a proposal last month to the White House about about a potential trade deal, but they're still waiting for a response, and no doubt are hoping that there will be some potential last-ditch reprieve for this, so that tariffs don't go up by that huge amount by Friday. But at the moment, it doesn't look particularly hopeful for them that will change. So a really bad timing in terms of both the political relationship with South Africa and the economic relationship. And, you know, it's hard to know how this can be repaired right now.
It's important to also, you know, point out, as you did, Kate, that Trump could possibly change his mind, because he hasn't said for sure whether or not he's coming or not coming to South Africa. What does it say about his attitude toward multilateralism and globalism?
Yeah, and you're right on that last point you just made. He is famously mercurial, changes his mind often. So even though we're discussing this situation now, you never know when things might change. He might decide he's got a different opinion, or that he does want to visit Africa. He's still never been as president, but certainly in terms of his general attitude towards kind of global governments, all of this shows how increasingly isolationist he's making the United States, economically protectionist as well with these tariffs. Ahead of the G20, already his Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and his Foreign Secretary Marco Rubio have both not attended preparatory meetings for their relevant departments for ahead of the leaders' meeting of the G20. So there's already been kind of boycotting at that level, a real disregard across the administration for these multilateral institutions. And even if you put aside the currently bad relationship between the US and South Africa, this meeting is an opportunity for Donald Trump to meet multiple world leaders in one place over a couple of days. And he's turning that opportunity down. You know, so that does suggest that he really at the moment doesn't seem to be bothered by the idea of managing to meet all of his international counterparts. But again, as we keep saying, he could change his mind. It will not be the first time he's done that.
Yeah, we'll just have to keep a close eye on it. Thank you so much, Kate Fisher, who is SABC News correspondent, joining us there from Washington on the latest on a breaking news story.